Kubrat Pulev has already started discussions that he wants to take a rematch against Wladamir Klitschko. He's been critical of Klitschko's tactics, the holding, the wrestling, the throwing. Says that Klitschko fought dirty. Respect Klitschko, but he fought dirty and I want a rematch. For me, Kubrat Pulev can forget that. Kubrat Pulev is not a massive name outside of the boxing community and outside of Bulgaria. He's not someone like David Haye, Tyson Fury, who bring a huge section of fans and money to them, to the party. He's not got the marketability of Deontay Wilder, or dare I say it, even a Shannon Briggs, both of whom could get a huge selection of non-boxing fans tuning in to watch a fight. My point is, Kubrat Pulev isn't the kind of guy you choose to fight unless you have to. He's good, he's tricky, he probably doesn't bring a lot of money and glamour to a fight. Now let's be honest, last night's fight wasn't competitive. Pulev was awkward. There were two occasions, once in the first, very early on, once in the fourth, where he catches Vlad. It looked to me like he caught Vlad well in the first. I know it was only a jab, but Vlad, I wasn't sure whether his knees buckled slightly. He obviously recovered very well. But his upright style, his height, his physique, how upright he was when he fought, made it awkward for Klitschko. It wasn't as easy for Klitschko as his fight against Povetkin or Leopai. Now I appreciate Povetkin went the distance whereas Pulev got KO'd. But I think stylistically the Povetkin fight was easier for Klitschko, because he could stand back, use his reins, and I think Klitschko thrives when he is the bigger man, which is the majority of occasions. He was the bigger man against Pulev, but the difference was slight. But Pulev went wrong in a number of areas. He had his chance, it was his big shot, and he blew it with some basic errors. He really didn't force the pace of the fight for my liking. He stood at 3/4 reins, which I thought was very odd. He was standing almost exactly where Wladimir would have wanted him to have landed. His, left hand front hook and his right hand cross. He was standing in reins as if he was the bigger, taller man. For me, this is because he's too reliant on his jab. He's got a very, very good jab. Not as good as Klitschko's, but very, very good. And because his tactics so far in his career has just been to use the jab, for me he didn't adapt against Klitschko. He just stood there, in range, against a bigger man than him. His movement was non-existent. His inside game was non-existent. His defence was average at best. I mean, how many times did he get caught clean in a very short fight? He was doing all of this sort of feinting with his, with his jab, his hands, but he was leaving himself wide open. His durability was solid, but he lacks too many attributes to beat Klitschko. He caught Klitschko clean twice. He was lucky to catch him clean twice. That's probably more than Povetkin and Leopai combined caught Klitschko. But he doesn't have that power. Not the elite World Heavyweight Championship power. A Deontay Wilder, a Bermane Stiverne, a David Haye, if they were able to land a shot or two on Klitschko, you never know. There's a chance something crazy could happen. But Kubrat Pulev, despite landing effective shots at times, just didn't have that crack behind him. His only tactic was to be a jabber against the best jabber on the planet. His evasiveness, his defence, his movement wasn't there. It wasn't competitive. Do I want to see a Pulev rematch? No. There's more deserving competitors out there. There's guys who haven't had a chance yet. From a business sense, there's also bigger money guys, more marketable guys. I think Kubrat Pulev has got a long road ahead of rebuilding. Let's not forget, the level of this opposition the guy is beaten is solid, but unspectacular. Tony Thompson, Ustinov, Dimitrenko. Solid, but unspectacular. For me, we need to see Pulev in some very, very big fights before considering him. It seemed to me that he was promoted by Sauerland, he was an amateur standout, and they wanted to get him up to like a 20-0 to fight Wladamir Klitschko. Understandable. I know a lot of promoters operate that manner. But in order to start talking about a second fight, they're going to need to roll the dice a bit more. Alexander Povetkin is a man who will fight anyone. Look at the opposition he's taken on throughout his career. That would be a good fight. Mike Perez would be a good fight. Carlos Takam on a comeback would be a good fight. The loser of Fury Chisora would be a good fight. But it's time for Pulev to roll the dice on terms of opponents. He got his tactics wrong. He's not a big money marketable fighter. We shouldn't be talking about a rematch after what was a very, very competitive, uncompetitive beatdown. If you disagree with me, I'm keen to hear from you. Follow me on Twitter @BoxingGossip.